Hey everybody, it's Mike Young, a digitalnomad.net, and you've already seen it right now. You know, I'm a Sigma male. I haven't really announced this on the channel before, and I've actually been doing a lot of research on the internet over the last year and a half, where it seems like this whole Sigma male concept has really, I don't know, either it's exploded in my algorithm of things that I see in my news feeds, or it's now suddenly a thing because I always used to think I was just different and I was an introvert. And, I'd say that I'm doing a series of videos now on introverts, which is one thing, but being a Sigma male is something different. Although I feel like in my own life and knowing what I know about Sigma males, it probably is required to be an introvert. And let me just show you the statistic here. The rarest male, 0.1% of men are Sigma males, apparently. So it kind of fits in with what I was doing. And as I've been watching and researching over the last year and a half through the internet, it's like I said, it's been trending recently. Never really saw this before. And I feel after looking into so many things that folks have been watching me, like someone's been following me around with a camera and recording my life because they're talking about me. So for this video, I just want to kind of give an introduction to the concept of Sigma male. If you've never thought about that before, if you haven't known one, well, now you know that you know me through the internet. Let me know down below if you're a Sigma male in the comments. If you know any people that are Sigma males, send them this video. I'm just kind of curious to learn about people and actually see actual humans and know more about their lifestyles, people that fit into this, I don't know, personality category, I think is what it is. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about just a general overview of a Sigma male. Different characteristics, I think, is what I want to talk about here, and then how they relate to me or fit into my life and what I'm doing. All right, first of all, number one thing, they tend to be loners. And this is why I say I feel like it's almost like a prerequisite that you are an introvert. If you are gonna think, if you're gonna think about being a Sigma male or falling into that category of Sigma male, they're a loner. It says it should not be confused with Sigma males disliking social company. Okay. Indeed, it means they prefer a solitary lifestyle and are more of a recluse. They do not need people to have a good time. On the flip side, they can be pleasant and friendly with the people they like. All right, so it's not that Sigma males dislike having some company, because even introverts like me like company from time to time. It's just that I'd say that, my take is that Sigma males are definitely much more introverts and maybe even a prerequisite for being a Sigma male. All right, another characteristic, they are flexible. While alpha males or beta males are more rigid when it comes to personalities and environments they prefer to be in, Sigma males are non-conformists and they can adapt to most circumstances. They can perform well under different social situations, team compositions, and even outside the comfort zones. All right, so in areas that people don't want to go in, basically, Sigma males do well there. Now, I know it says you can adapt anywhere, but like if you're not an extrovert and I don't know if you'd even be a Sigma male, you're not going to be hanging around people all the time and constantly involved with lots of people. I mean, definitely doing things, working well with people, but at the same time needing that alone time. And I'm making this more of an introvert video, and I don't want to do that. Okay, next one. They are themselves regardless of who's watching. I guess it's more like being authentic, right? You're not gonna throw up some kind of shield, or you're not gonna pretend to be something you're not, or you're not gonna act fake happy when you're really sad, that kind of thing. Always give it to you straight, direct, very direct. Sometimes it can be, you know, a lot of people can't take that and say, oh, don't, people say, oh, don't do that. No, but a Sigma male like me, I don't want to say anything but the truth, because if I'm not telling someone the truth, that's a lie. And even if it makes them feel better momentarily, it's not what's really going on. So I'd say I definitely fit into this too. While others may tend to be around other people or show a particular face to society, Sigma personality type males tend to be themselves regardless of who is around. They will be more or less the same person when alone as they are around other people, making it a remarkable attribute. Now, that is a sad statement on society. If you have to be in like the least populated personality category in order to be straight with people, that's a sad statement on the world, if you ask me. Oh well. All right, next one. They tend to lead without exerting authority. Okay, what does that mean? When we think of leaders, we tend to think of alpha men. Sigma men also make for excellent leaders, albeit with a different leadership style. They prefer to lead by example or mutual communication rather than establishing their dominance or authority. All right, now I would say that definitely flows with me, although I think back to times when I've raised kids and admittedly I didn't do such a great job on certain things, and maybe I had to resort to dominance or authority, displaying that, but that was a last resort. That was not a method I wanted to use. And actually, I will also say that because I tend to not use dominance and authority, people will tend to try to take advantage of me thinking they can. But they find out that that's not the case. Okay? It's something I have to deal with because I don't want to let people think they can take advantage of me. But because of the way I act a lot of times, I think this is a Sigma male trait, people kind of think they can, then they find out later they can't. It's interesting. I guess that's why people aren't used to that. This definitely makes a lot of sense. Sigmas will get what needs to be accomplished with a balanced approach to leadership. That's what it's saying here. All right, next one. Don't ask my ex-wife about this, but they are good listeners. And I do believe I'm a good listener. Now, a lot of people who say people are good listeners or not relate that to, okay, I have something to say, you need to listen to it, and then you need to act accordingly because by your act of listening, you know what you need to do. That is not the case. That's not actually what makes a good listener, if you ask me, because again, you have to be direct, you have to be straightforward, you have to be honest with the person. And I do think I'm a very good listener. Now, am I the type of person that when I hear something or making eye contact and listening, that'll actually take that person's suggestion? Well, maybe, if it's a good suggestion. If it's not a good suggestion, I have to be direct. I have to be straightforward. I have to be honest. And if it's not good, I'm not going to do it. Some people will say, well, that's because you're not a good listener. You didn't hear what I said. Let me say it again. No. I heard what you said. It's just that not everything that everyone says, including myself, is a good suggestion. And it's not necessarily going to be acted on. So much to the dismay of some folks that have known me in previous times, I do think I've always listened, unless I was completely exhausted, okay? Which I have been exhausted at times. I know how life gets, especially when you are raising a family and you're trying to support households and multiple people, et cetera, et cetera. You get exhausted. Now, that is a different situation. But outside of those rare occasions, yes, I do think I'm a good listener. I'm always listening, always trying to improve things, always trying to learn things, always trying anyway. And it takes a lot to convince somebody like me. I'm just telling you, don't think, oh, Mike, let me just tell you this, and then you go do that. No. That's part of my research, okay? I think that's true with all Sigma males. You're going to have to, if you really want to convince a Sigma male of something, you're going to really have to put in some effort. All right, they are self-aware. It's not next descriptor. While this can be true about beta males, remember, Sigma is not alpha or beta. It often manifests due to insecurity in beta males. They become self-aware due to insecurity. When we say Sigma males are self-aware, it works both ways. They know their good qualities and also their flaws. Self-awareness helps them self-correct when they go wrong, and they do not repeat mistakes. Okay. This is what I always say. Experience is the best teacher. Mistakes are the best teacher. Experiencing a mistake firsthand is good because you're going to learn. You're not going to forget. And I don't forget. I guess there's a lot of people that, even though they do something wrong, they go ahead and do it again and again and again and again and again and again. I cannot be around those people. I'm sorry. They're not learning. It's like they don't care. It's like they love to screw up, or they just love chaos. And that's not something that myself as a Sigma male can deal with. And again, a lot of these things I thought, well, oh, maybe I'm just not understanding enough. Maybe I just, no, I get it now. I get it when I'm when I'm reading all the stuff on the internet. It makes sense. Like I said, I feel like people have been following me around with cameras for years. All right, next one. They have an ambiguous morality. Sigma males tend to see right and wrong in complex scenarios. In this regard, they may harbor a sympathetic attitude towards certain people other than judging them outright. It makes them critical thinkers and analyze all aspects of the issue before passing judgment on it. Okay, so they didn't say judging them outright at first, but eventually passing judgment. And I will. Eventually, I feel like I need to make a decision, right? Whenever you do your research and you want to find out and get to the bottom of something, eventually you do have to pass that judgment and make a decision. But after careful collection of the data, careful analysis, whatever the situation is. And again, I kind of use this in almost every aspect of my life. And this, I guess it kind of annoys people who aren't like this or don't fit well with the Sigma male personality, is that they're like, oh, whatever, whatever. And of course, they get the results of whatever, and they're usually awfully bad. And I don't want to have to deal with that. That's not fun. Actually, it's kind of weird because so much of this that you've heard already is probably very analytical, but it's not analytical for the sake of being analytical as a Sigma male. It is, I like to have fun in my life. I like to enjoy my life. And if things are constantly going wrong and constantly repeating the same mistakes and constantly not getting good results, that's not fun. That's how I would look at that. So fun is the result. It's like when hard work meets preparation, that type of a thing, right? Okay. They have rusty social skills. This is the next one. I don't know what you guys think about me. Let me know down in the comments below if I have rusty social skills. And let me use my amazing social skills right now to tell you guys that if you are getting some value out of this video, please go down here, right down here in this area. And there's either a thanks button or there's 3 dots. And depending on which one you see, you can open up the super thanks feature and you can actually pay me a donation that matches the value that I'm providing to you in this video. So I would very much appreciate going down here, either 3 buttons or thanks, activates the super thanks feature. It may be new for you. You may have never seen this before. It's really cool. You can make a donation that matches up with the value that I'm providing you with this video. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. Let me get back to my social skills. How do my social skills do there? Did I do a great job of just communicating that to you to please give me a donation? Or was I a little rusty? Well, I just did a video on an introductory video on me being an introvert. And I talked about how I have worked so hard over the years to improve my social skills. You have no idea. I'm going to be going into this more over time with the introvert videos on that specifically. But for a Sigma male, I guess all that is kind of goes with the territory, right? It's going to be a little rusty, but it's nothing we can't improve on, right? We can get better and better over time. Now, I don't know if Elon Musk is a Sigma male, but I remember, not too long ago, he used to stutter all the time in terms of his presentations and things, and he rarely, if ever, does that anymore. I don't know I guess he's practicing. And there are some people say that he's on the autistic spectrum or whatever. But, I don't know if anyone's ever used this before, the Sigma male thing, although I don't think it applies to him. I don't think he's an introvert. Okay? Like I am, and I'm an extreme introvert. Let me just let you know, extreme. Whether it looks that way or not, introverts, go watch our video on introverts. They recharge your energy completely alone and in quiet areas. All right, so social skills. They can come off as a little abrasive or uninterested, since they rarely have emotional reactions that are direct while communicating. While some may see this as rude, it's a consequence of them being good listeners. Hmm. Okay. It's making sense now, right? They do not disguise their intent with flowery language or flattery. Oh, that's another one. Okay. Oh my God. I remember, yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. Anybody that knows me for for any length of time knows that I don't give compliments that often. Although I have been giving more compliments than ever recently. And let me let you know why I think this is. And it's kind of a consequence of the digital economy, of this digital nomad lifestyle that myself and my wife Denise have been living. But I look back at my life, and back in the day before the internet, I just was around whoever I happened to be around. Right? There was no. It's not like I did research to pick out all my friends and aligned up interests and whatnot. Sorry, that just didn't happen. So a lot of the time, you think about it, I was really disinterested in the people that I was around. Maybe that's why I developed introversion. I don't even know. But I really couldn't handpick who I was hanging out with. I couldn't say, okay, this person I might, have a really good conversation with, right? Um, you know, I might be able to get into some really uh interesting concepts with them. No, not really. It just usually didn't happen. So because of that, I guess I didn't give a lot of compliments. I didn't have an opportunity. And then as I said, I made a lot of mistakes as a parent. I learned as I went, got better and better, in my opinion. Not perfect, not even close, but better. And I started to give compliments because I was able to, as a parent who is responsible for someone, be able to get better results. So when I saw them, I was actually complimenting my kids on those things. Even though they didn't happen that often, they started happening more if I reflect on it. Okay. And I've learned now even more. I mean, for instance, I wasn't even vegetarian or plant based or vegan when I was raising my kids. All that happened afterwards. I'm 53 years young right now, in case you're wondering. And you know, uh, so there's so much I didn't know. I just look back in time, and it was tougher to give compliments. I know more. I made my circle. I mean, I have more friends than ever. Let's put it this way. I truly do. I have more friends than ever. But the circle of friends that I have, they all match up within a certain dynamic or a certain thought pattern or a certain interest level or a certain intelligence. Also, a lot more similarities like plant based and vegan people, things like that, to where I've got a really interesting group of people out there to talk to, and I can give compliments. It's just, if you think about it, and this is one of the benefits of the digital nomad lifestyle, of the fact that everything's becoming digitized, is just the connection of everyone, this long tail of the internet. And for people like me who are Sigma males, who are very unusual and different and want to be as straightforward as possible, it is a boom time for us. Whereas in the past, I was like living in the desert and I just didn't understand why I didn't fit in, didn't make sense. Now there's opportunity. I can't have that same type of an attitude towards this that I had in the past, where I was just almost like, I don't know, feeling like, why would someone do this to me? Why am I here if I'm so different than everyone else? Now it's like, gosh, there are people all over the place that are similar. We're all working together, even though we may not see eye to eye on everything all the time, which is normal. We're all working together and making progress. So that's what I'm seeing. And then I'm giving out compliments because of this. I know this is a very long winded way for me to say all this, but I want you to know, as a Sigma male, and if you're a single male, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. Comment down below. Let me know how you feel about this kind of stuff and how it applies in your own life too. I'd love to see some examples in your own life. All right, next one. They can fit into friend groups, but do not rely on them. Sigma males are flexible, making it easy for them to fit into different social groups and get along with people. For the most part, I say I'd struggle with that one a little bit more, especially if I look into the past when I was forced to hang out with people that I didn't necessarily want to hang out with because I didn't have any choice. Like I couldn't develop community like I can through the internet now. However, it does not mean that they are dependent on social groups or friends. They are content and happy on their own and stay the same irrespective of their social circle. Content and happy on their own. Again, that's another introvert trait. And I also want to say that my wife, Denise, who is the greatest, she's also an introvert, so we get along really well. If I had someone who was an extrovert as especially an extrovert that claimed that I wasn't a good listener, okay, which has happened to me, that's a recipe for disaster for someone like me. That's a Sigma male. Can I have some water? Mm. All right, so next one. They decide their future. Decide. Like, you're not dropped off into this world and just flung around by all the outside stuff and you just go with the flow and that's it. I've never been like that. I've always been the opposite. I've always kind of done my own thing. I've always been self-employed. Keep this in mind. All right. This is another reason why I think people have been following me for years with cameras. Okay. When alphas have a high functioning environment and betas do well in passive, low stress environments. So alphas do well in high functioning environments, which is extrovert heaven, I guess, which I would not do well in. Not do well. Betas do well in passive, low stress environments. Just low stress. I guess here's your job. Go do it. It's rote and boring, but you'll be happy. I wouldn't be happy in either one of those scenarios. That's for sure. Sigma males are free spirits, excuse me, and succeed or fail on their terms. They are characterized by their autonomous nature, preferring to operate independently and make decisions based on their own judgments rather than seeking approval or guidance from others. Okay, now this is definitely true for me, and I'm sure I pissed off people because of this. And I didn't understand in the past why I was pissing people off so much. Not everyone, some people, especially people who are used to not having someone who can be autonomous and having someone who is used to maybe getting some kind of a group decision on certain things, or all things for that matter. Okay. Now, it's one thing if I enter into an environment where I know it's a group or it's a community and we're going to decide together. Yes, I get that. Okay. But I'm talking about most of what I do and most of how I run my life. That's what I'm talking about. All right. They know they are responsible for their fates and aren't bound by their society or environment. They hold themselves accountable for their actions and consequences. That's another important one. It's not like I've had people say that, look, you've gone rogue. Oh my gosh, what did you do? What are you doing? No, I'm actually going to go do something because I know I have to do it in that situation. And it's very important. And yes, I will hold myself accountable for my actions and consequences. In other words, I better produce some good results because that's all that matters here in 2023. And the internet has allowed us to determine whether something's a good result or not. You can see it. There's not really any question these days whether you've got good results or not. But I still see people who live in the past who think that, I don't know, the results don't count. Look, I was just trying. Look, it's a good effort. Look, I'm in the right area. I'm putting the time in. I'm whatever. No, the results. That's what matters. Okay. You decide your future. Nobody can do something with poor results ongoing. That's unsustainable. So deciding your future means that you've got to hold yourself accountable. I think it's very important. It's definitely something I do. So I hold myself to a high standard. I self-motivate. A lot of people cannot self-motivate. They're like, look, I tried. I did this. Come on. We're going to keep trying. No. That's not sustainable. You're obviously not providing yourself with the proper motivation. We're going to have to do something different. All right. And a Sigma male would determine this right away. But others, apparently, as I see, I would think that they would, but they don't. All right. Next one. They land. They tend to have small but close social circles. That's definitely true. I'd say before the internet, I hardly had any friends. this also kind of goes in with me being an introvert. And I'm going to talk about this in other videos that deal with introversion. But Sigma males don't feel the need to have big friend circles or impress crowds of people. Instead, they prefer to have a closer circle of friends that they can trust and share the same wavelength. Kind of follows on with what I've been saying, right? It may come as an off as antisocial, but they're not. Okay. Yeah, I'd say the people that are actually friends is a very small number. I have amazing amounts of acquaintances, though. I guess I used to call them friends about 10 years ago when the internet really started to blossom with social media. But those are more acquaintances. The friends are still small. And yeah, I don't feel like I need to impress crowds of people, even though I'm in so many things on social media. I run so many things. I know I get all kinds of negative feedback all the time saying, oh, Mike Young wants to do this. Mike Young thinks he can do that. Somebody needs to stop this guy. Like, I could care less about any of that stuff. I'm actually just trying to make the world a better place. I'm actually just trying to get a few things done that are obviously wrong with society. And you have to break through barriers to do that. It's never going to be comfortable. I mean, the reality is whenever you do something worthwhile, it's always going to be a significant amount of effort. That's what I've seen. If it's very low effort or not that much effort, it's probably not even worth doing. Don't even need to do it. But just to say that it's not like I'm gathering some crowd around to hear me. It's not about me. Society needs to move forward. There are so many things that are wrong. Like, I just look at people's health. Okay. And if you want to know more, get my free book. It's Live to 150 at liveto150.org. Totally free. That's through our nonprofit. Yes, it's me talking in every video, but I'm just trying to get the information across in the best way that I know how. If you guys know of a better way, either go do it yourself or ask me to do it, because I'm always open to new ideas, always trying new things. All right, next one. They are self-sufficient. Sigma males value independence more than anything and will do their best to be completely self-sufficient in all aspects of life. They prefer to be self-reliant and do not want to rely on anyone for the basics in life and build their competencies to lead an independent existence. All right, now this is a big one. I'm sure I fit into this. I'm not completely self-sufficient, but you know what this means? It's almost like a jack of all trades. Okay. I know they say master of none, but forget about that for a minute. If you're going to be self-sufficient, you got to keep learning. You have so many things to learn. There's only so many hours in the day, and you're probably not even going to be able to learn all that you need to learn. So you need to go out and just do it. Just have a vision, have some goals, know where you want to get, and go out and learn. And nowadays with the internet, it is so much easier to do all this stuff. It used to be so much more difficult. I used to go to the library in the 90s. If you remember what the library was, I used to read books on self-improvement, personal development, finance, all the stuff that's now, you don't need to go and read books for that. It's all over the internet. Even a lot of my videos, I'd say with relationships, I've got some new series of videos. I've got one on relationships. I got one on introverts, and I got one here on Sigma males. And I think that, I'm going to be doing content going forward that will deal with a lot of these self-improvement ideas and personal finance as well. So, okay, next one. They aren't afraid to take risks. Now, I will say calculated risks, because people say, oh, you're reckless. You're out of control. I would never do that. I can't sleep at night. I'm up. What are you doing? Well, I went through all the facts. I did my research. I'm independent, like and I want to accomplish this, so I'm going to go do it now. It's time to go do it. A lot of people don't even understand what a calculated risk is, and that's the kind of risk I would take, a calculated risk. That's much different than being reckless and being out of control and just doing something ridiculous. All right, Sigmas rarely take the beaten path and do not deviate from established. Wait a minute. Sigmas rarely take the beaten path, and they do deviate, I'm thinking, from established career and life paths. They dislike social structure and cages and like to break out and do their own thing. Also, they accept the risks associated with such a decision. Well, yeah, I guess there are risks because, like, I've heard this all along. I've always been self-employed. Well, Mike, you don't have, how's your disability insurance going? What this? I mean, I've looked into disability insurance. There are risks because, if I broke my arm and I was in the landscaping business every day of my life, it seemed like for a few decades, there was nothing to fall back on but really my own self-insurance, because any kind of policy I could get would be prohibitively expensive and or cover me for only a short period of time and only a short amount of money. So I guess there is a risk like that, to doing your own thing. It's either that or I go into the hamster wheel with everyone else. And that just wasn't going to happen. Thankfully, the economy was so bad when I had to make that decision that I just went for it and kept on building the business. All right, next one. They are not attention seekers. This kind of goes with what I said earlier. It's kind of counterintuitive or doesn't make sense to people that don't understand the concept of Sigma males, because they think, oh, Sigma male, this person's in charge of a bunch of things here. But also think also in charge of a bunch of things, but I'm way back. I'm in your computer, as you can see. I Most of what I do is possible because of the internet. The fact that I'm able to be in charge of all these things and run all these things and not be in the center of attention, and not seek it, and not constantly be seeking it as part of me maintaining that, is because of the digital lifestyle and the internet and other technologies. Sigma males don't seek attention or validation from others. When they do get it, they don't live for it or thrive on it. They lead to get into the background and listen and observe rather than be the center of attention. Yeah, I would say that definitely describes me, especially that last sentence, because I'm definitely an introvert. I don't want to be the center of attention. I don't want to be out in front of everyone, like, I don't know, leading a pep rally or something like that. I mean, I'll do something from time to time, but that is not the position I really want to be in. And again, thankfully, because of the internet, because of digital devices, because of other ways of communicating, like right now, it's just me talking to the camera. This is possible. And this is what I like. Last one. They have the potential to be an alpha. I've heard that before. I guess I've heard that about others too, maybe who are more associated with me. It's like, you had the potential for well, no, not if that's not who they are, and maybe they're ahead of their time if it was in the past, because now I can do this, and this is definitely way more in line with who I am and what my strengths are, even if it wasn't possible before and nobody could see that. And maybe that's why, like I said, we're only seeing and hearing about Sigma males now. I think a lot of the Sigma male trend is technology driven. And we had to get to a certain point of mature technologies and ubiquitous technologies, ubiquitous high-speed data flows, and services just about everywhere to make this possible. It's kind of like self-driving cars. If they're going to rely, like they're saying, on 5G, 5G has to be ubiquitous and it has to be reliable, and then all of a sudden we'll move into that next dimension. So I think that a Sigma male is the next dimension. Maybe even if it's only 0.1% of people right now, maybe it'll be 10% in another 10 years. I don't know. I mean, I think that it opens up a lot of opportunities that people weren't aware of, they never thought of. Even if I couldn't fit in before, and I'm thriving in it now and really enjoying it. Maybe there's other people that are seeing this for the first time and they're like, well, I need to think about this. Maybe I need to approach life in a different way. All right, so they have the potential to be an alpha. With their social adaptability and flexibility, a Sigma man can also be an alpha male. Sigma males' leadership skills and independence play to their strengths and comfort zones. Sigma males' leadership and independence play to their strengths and comfort zones. Okay, well, I hope this has been a good overview for you of Sigma males. And definitely let me know your stories in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, please. It really helps us in the algorithm. And, I intend this video series to be more about me. Yeah, definitely more about me and how I relate to Sigma males. I see a lot of generic information out here on the internet about Sigma males in general. And it's been very inspiring to me to know that, this is recognized now. This is like a thing. And people realize that Sigma males are an actual beneficial, if I don't even mind saying it, thing to have around, rather than something that was just either on the fringe or, there's some kind of disorder going on over there or whatnot. I don't think so. Because one of the things I do recognize about myself is that I've always have an active mind. So meditation is a good thing to kind of calm that from time to time when you want to. But the active mind also is always making you think. Like if I think now about, say, my landscaping business, which I alluded to, I've been working in forever, since 1978, when I was 8 years old, and all the way through now, over 40 years. And I remember thinking in the 90s, man, I'm going to be out of a job in a few years because robots will be cutting lawns with lasers. I didn't even think about electric equipment actually at the time. I just thought it was still going to be, internal combustion engine stuff. But, of course, has any of that happened? I've seen some moving mowers out there, but nothing even cutting with lasers. And even the stuff that does cut on its own is not very good. But this was in the 90s, and I was concerned that I would be out of a job soon. That's how forward-thinking I am. So hopefully you guys are out here watching. You're forward-thinking people too. Become a subscriber and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.